Welcome back to the channel. Up today we have this old Mossberg model 341. It's a bolt action magazine, just in the background there, fed 22 rifle. I think there's a 24-inch barrel on it. Nice walnut stock on it. But I want to put a little scope on it, you know, for plinking out a little further distances, or just over using the iron sights. And I had to find these special scope rings. They're made by BKL model 274. So if you have a Mossberg 140, model 142, 144, 146, 151, 152, 250, 340, 341 is what I have here, 342, 344, 346, 350, 351, 352, 353, 377, 380, and 640. These scope rings are kind of needed. So with the bolt location for this particular gun is so far forward, so if you have a regular set and you put it up here in this position right here, your eye relief will be really far back, or really far forward in the scope. So essentially you'd have to be right about here as far as the rifle length. I'll show the camera's got you. So you'd have to slide your head really far up in the cheek weld to get a really good eye relief picture. So what these scope mounts do, they kind of move back about 1.5 inches so that the scope can sit back at a more normal location to your eye box, eye relief. So that's why I got these scope rings. Haviland Sales has them on sale, I think, for like $38 for these scope rings. You can find them elsewhere online. I actually got these off eBay for like 22 bucks delivered, so I was happy with that purchase. I haven't done an auction on eBay in a while, but picked those up for pretty cheap. So again, took them, mounted them up, you know, forward, where you can go kind of wherever it needs to be as far as spacing off the scope. The back one, again, you want it kind of here between where the shell casing will eject and where this bolt goes forward. So about there, you have clearance. The bolt slides back, so there's plenty of clearance there. And then they also do, I'm sure the camera's going to pick it up or not. We're kind of close anyway. So they do have, sorry about this angle, a look through. Not sure you'll be able to see that or not. There you go. So with that sight picture, you actually can do, you can see the iron sights through that hole that's machined out of there. So I was kind of excited to have look through sight as well, because I like using iron sights as well. So a scope's nice, but having backup iron sights is kind of nice too. So I had a couple cheap scopes laying around that I hadn't matched up with the gun yet. This is a Primary Arms SLX 4-12 by 40. It's like a $100 scope. Nothing too fancy, but it's a 1-inch ring. These are all 1-inch mounts, so for a 1-inch scope. So I want to use this scope here. Honestly, had a smaller objective lens here. But what I found when I tried to put this on is that because of this section of the scope here, it was bottoming out on the scope mount right here. Therefore, see how it's wobbling? Okay. So therefore, this would have to slide this far to actually be able to clear that, which essentially is the same as using a non-offset scope mount ring. So you still have the same eye relief issue as far as location of that to where your eye would be. So unfortunately, this scope was out. Even when I rotated the scope over 90 degrees, so it was kind of clocked over to the 9 o'clock position, it's still high centers right here in the middle. Unfortunately, I thought there was actually enough daylight there. I'm not going to try and machine this down to make that scope fit. I have this other Monstrum 3-9 by 40, and that's a much smaller depth of this particular center part of the scope. So that one clears with plenty of daylight underneath it. So essentially, I'm going to end up using this scope. What I did find is, with any of these scopes with a 40mm objective lens, it does not clear. You cannot look through these sight posts here to see the iron sights. So unless you had kind of a straight or a very small, maybe a 20mm objective lens, you could probably see around the iron sights. But unfortunately, I'm probably going to hide the iron sights with this particular scope that I have currently. Anyway, so I'll mount this up in a little bit and take a picture afterwards, I guess. You gotta make sure, with this lens as well, you gotta make sure you're not hitting the rear iron sight there. So could have some clearance there as well. So just a note of caution, if you have one of these guns and you're gonna buy the BKL model 274s, just be aware that, you know, if your scope has a large center region here where all the turrets are, it may not clear this location right here. So, all right, stay tuned. Okay, so here it is all tightened up. Torque these down to like 15 to 20 inch-pounds of torque. These just, I didn't actually tighten those torques back, but gave them a little twist, but nothing too firm. Essentially, yeah, with this scope, we have just enough clearance between rear sight post and then the rear sight itself right there. So it's back as far as it can go. I guess I could, if I had a smaller objective scope, get this to slide back a little further, but it's comfortable enough with the way I cheek weld this to get a good eye relief out of that gun. But again, I'm only utilizing maybe, if you look at the distance of where a scoping would have been, maybe half an inch, 3/4 of an inch aft. So I have more room to play up here, it's just I'm bottoming out up front here. So again, if this eye relief still isn't enough for you, then maybe get a different scope. And again, I was hoping I was going to mount this guy on there, but it just didn't clear with that mid body section, unfortunately, with this particular set of scopings. A little disappointing. They didn't think of that when they were making these. They could have made these, 50 thou taller to clear maybe a majority of other scopes, but that's what it is. So again, it's a good solution to the problem of not getting enough eye relief on this gun, but I still ran into a problem with this particular scope here. So again, the manufacturer's BKL, model 274. And again, high quality parts. I'm not comparing the quality of the parts at all. I'm just saying a little more height there would have given some more space to slide the scope even further back. So anyway. Okay, so it's a little too cold to sight this thing in right now, but it's pretty close as far as where I was aiming, where I was hitting standing up, so I'll do a bench rest some time and sight it in properly. Thanks for watching. Have a great Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, and all that stuff. So take care. Till next time. Thanks for watching.